Hi friends, welcome back. Today I have a fun book for you. You may know the fairy tale of Cinderella. Do you know that tale? And you probably know it more famously because of the uh, the Disney movie. I doubt it's because of Prokofiev's ballet, but if it is, good for you. But anyway, Disney is very good at producing fairy tales and making them quite popular. So Cinderella is a very good story, and I have a number of books um, that are about Cinderella but different. And this one is fun because it's not Cinderella, it's Cinderelephant. And this is by Emma Dodd. And I think you're going to like this one. I know my daughter likes it. So, Cinderelephant by Emma Dodd. So that means she did the pictures and the story. Yeah. And I don't see. Oh, the dedication, like I said, sometimes it's at the back, and here it is. For Rose and Faye, with love, from Emma. But I'm not going to show you the picture because it kind of gives away what happens. And I don't want to give it away. That's like a spoiler. We don't like spoilers here. We like you to learn as we learn. Okay, so once upon a time, there was a lonely girl called Cinderelephant. Cinderelephant lived with her two cousins who were known as the Warty sisters. They were horrible, mean, and smelly, and they had no table manners. So there they are. The Warty sisters. They're kind of called the Warty sisters, I think, because they're warthogs. They made Cinderelephant do all the cooking and cleaning, and they never, ever said thank you. Well, that's not nice. Cinderelephant was sad and tired and fed up with being ignored. And rightfully so, Cinderelephant. Oh, look, I'll show you the whole picture because really, she's doing all this work and they're like, more food. One day, an invitation arrived from the palace. Prince Trunky had decided it was time he found a girlfriend. So King Saggy and Queen Wrinkly had invited all the girls in the neighborhood to a ball. So let's think about that. We have Prince Trunky, we have King Saggy, and Queen Wrinkly. What kind of animal do you think those three are? Let's see if you're right. Kind of gives it away on the invitation there, right? See right there? So if you said elephants, you're right. Because there's the saggy baggy elephant, that's another story. Chunky, elephants have trunks. And wrinkly, they have wrinkly skin. So I think that's why the author chose those names. The Warty sisters were very excited and started to plan what they would wear. If they are inviting all the girls, said Cinderelephant, perhaps that includes me. Of course you won't be going, Cinderelephant, laughed the Warty sisters. Whoever would want to dance with you? So irrelevant means that you don't belong. It doesn't matter if you're there or not. So it's not a nice thing to say. Oh, I didn't show you the picture. Something that's not relevant to the story. Let's say in Cinderella, she's eating a pumpkin pie at some point. Well, that's irrelevant to the story. It really doesn't matter. It has nothing to do with the story, whereas the slipper is very important. That would be very relevant. Hope that helped you. The day of the party arrived, and the Warty sisters dressed up in their most fashionable clothes. Bye-bye, Cinderelephant, they called as they left the house. Don't wait up. We're bound to be home very late. Poor Cinderelephant sat all alone in the silent house. A big tear rolled down her trunk and plopped onto the floor. She's got a big tear plopping on the floor. You think she's happy? You think she's sad? Yeah, she's sad. I never like to see people sad, or elephants for that matter. But sometimes it's okay to be sad, too. But try to cheer him up. Let's see what happens. Hey, squeaked a small voice.
Watch when you drop those tears. I'm getting soaked.
Cinderelephant saw a tiny mouse looking up at her crossly. I'm sorry, she sniffed. I'm just feeling sad that I can't go to the party. Excuse me for asking, but who are you?
Why, I'm your fairy godmouse, of course,
he exclaimed, and with a flick of his magical tail, he said,
You shall go to the ball.
Twang! That's my sound effect for all the magical things that are going to happen.
Wow, you look amazing. Go to the party and enjoy yourself,
said the fairy godmouse.
But, and it's a big but, you must be home by midnight.
At the palace, Prince Chunky was bored. He didn't want to dance with any of the girls. He was worried they might get squished or squashed. If only he could find someone a bit more his type. But wait, who was this vision of loveliness that had just walked in? Clear the floor! Bellowed Prince Chunky. The king elephant reminds me of Babar. Any fans of Babar out there? Want to dance? He asked Cinderelephant as he swept her off her feet and onto the dance floor. Prince Chunky and Cinderelephant danced together for the rest of the evening. Look at all those hearts. Who is that? Asked everybody enviously.
She looks a bit like, but no, it can't be. She looks so good and she's such a great mover,
said the warty sisters. Cinderelephant had never been so happy. She didn't notice the time passing until suddenly the clock struck midnight. Oops, she exclaimed. I've got to go home. And as she rushed from the palace, she dropped one of her beautiful shoes. Wait! What's your name? Prince Chunky called after her, but Cinderelephant had already gone. And all she left behind was her shoe. At his feet lay one of Cinderelephant's fabulous shoes. Then and there, Prince Chunky made a decision, and Prince Chunky's decisions carry a lot of weight. That's a little humor. Picking up the stiletto, he declared, I shall find the girl whose foot fits this shoe, and I shall marry her. Well, I guess her limousine turned into a bike, huh? The next day, Prince Chunky began the search for the girl of his dreams. He went from house to house trying the fabulous shoe on every girl's foot. It fit nobody. Will I never find her? Oh, sighed the prince. At last he arrived at the warty sister's house.
Give me that shoe,
demanded one warty sister.
It's bound to fit me.
But of course her little trotter was far too small for the gorgeous shoe.
Let me have a go, said the other sister, snatching it. I am Prince Chunky's one true love.
But of course it did not fit her either. Sighing quietly to herself, Cinderelephant peeked shyly through a crack in the kitchen door. But, whoops! She accidentally stepped into a bucket, knocking over the mop, bringing a pile of pots and pans crashing and clattering down. Clang, clang, clatter, clatter, clang, clang. Who is in there? Asked the prince.
Oh, nobody important,
said the warty sisters hurriedly. Taking no notice, Prince Chunky went to investigate. Could it be you? Asked the prince, slipping the lovely shoe onto Cinderelephant's foot. It was a perfect fit. You are the one for me! Cried the prince in delight. Cinderelephant had never been so enormously excited in her life. Cinderelephant and Prince Chunky were married the very next day. Oh, they moved fast. And of course, they were hugely happy ever after. And that is the end of Cinderelephant. So if you know the story of Cinderella, and this is the story of Cinderelephant, how about you talk to your family member? It can be brother, sister, mom, dad, grown-up, aunt, uncle, friend, if you're talking to your friend too. Tell them what you think are things that are the same and things that are different between the Cinderella you know and Cinderelephant. And we're going to revisit this theme again. I think I have other Cinderella books, and we'll talk about that, and then maybe we can compare them from this book. But Cinderella and Cinderelephant, think about it, and it'll give you something to talk about. What are the same and what are different? Same is something that is, like for instance, both have, I'll give you one, both have like a fairy godmother or godfather in the book. That's a similar thing. That's the same. But what's different is how they look. Okay? So that's one. There's a lot. There's a lot. Hope you enjoyed this book, and I'll be back again to read you another one. Bye now. Take care.